What's up, you guys? So it has been over a year, maybe even 2 years, since I've talked about Tim Norman and the accusations that were made against him regarding the death of his nephew, Andre Montgomery. I'll put a link to the last time I covered this story. And I believe because I said that the man was crazy at the beginning of this video is why it has so many thumbs down. It's like at 66%. Never have I had a video that had so many thumbs down. And we're going to get into the video, and we're actually going to get into your comments on the video and all of these people standing up for Tim Norman because I was said he was crazy, in my opinion, from what I've seen about him put out by black women. His own mother, a black woman, his own mother had him in court because he was using her name to open restaurants. His own ex-wife accused him of abuse. Jennifer Williams accused him of stalking. All these black women were accusing him of just doing the most, being abusive financially and physically. But yet in the comments, you guys are defending him. You're defending him. It is just a horrible story, and it's hard for me to cover. It's hard for me to cover death, to be honest with you guys. It's hard for me to cover death. But the only reason I did decide to jump back in on this story is because I feel like there is information that is not making headline news. Basically, there's information about things Miss Robbie allegedly may have said. There's information about things that Andre allegedly may have said that are not making headline news that I think are important, and I think that you guys would want to know about. And I did get my hands on some of the court documents. The trial is going on now. The trial has been going on this past week and is going on into this upcoming week. Today is Sunday, and there are people who are going to testify on Monday. I believe there's going to be some really impactful testimony on Monday, and some of those documents have been made available to the public. So what I want to talk about today is Miss Robbie and what is said about Miss Robbie in these documents. Miss Robbie is we know her from Sweetie Pies. Welcome to Sweetie Pies, from the reality TV show on OWN. That's how we know this entire family. So I want to get into this first interview. Everyone, what is making headlines is everyone grabbing onto the interview she did with Black Enterprise, where she basically implied, I'm a stick beside him. And so it looks like that she's sticking beside her son no matter what. But when you look at the court documents, it's way more complex than that. It's way more complex. That's the best way I can describe it. It's very complex. And so I want to show you what is being said in these documents. So we'll start with the interview that Miss Robbie did with Black Enterprise. And in this interview, she was asked questions about her music, and she was also asked questions about her son and his nephew, her son and her grandson. Black Enterprise asked her, where do things stand with the case? Is it still ongoing? Are they still investigating? And Miss Robbie says, everything is at a standstill. I really don't know a lot about it. That's why I don't talk about it. We're just waiting. Now, this is a previous interview. She says everything is kind of at a standstill because of the pandemonium. And so the courts are behind, but we're just waiting and praying for a miracle. After all, everyone has to realize Tim Norman, hasn't been found guilty. That's what he's accused of. So we don't know what happened. That's my son. I mean, it's like a marriage, till death do us part. I can't give him back. When kids get in trouble, they're still your kids. No matter what happens, I'm still his mom, and he's got support. And I'm praying my child gets out of this because, like I say, he hasn't been found guilty, but the world beat him up. This could happen to you. It happened to me. It could happen to anybody's family. So she says she's praying her child gets out of this because he hasn't been found guilty. She's saying she doesn't know what happened, but she's praying her child gets out of it, and she supports him till death do them part. And so again, that is what's making headlines. But in the court documents, I want to show you something else. I don't want to say it contradicts what she said in that interview, but I will say it gives a different perspective. You know how a person can be of two minds? It gives that other perspective. And that's why I say this is really complex. It's not just what you see in the headlines that she supports her son. It is really complex. So let's get into this. So these are the court records that I'm sharing with you. I know they are not that large, but I am going to read together with you what they say. This first record is from Tim Norman's team. Defendant Tim Norman's motion to bar the government from calling Michelle Griggs as a witness at trial. Michelle Griggs is Andre Montgomery's mother. And when they say the government, it's because the case is the United States of America versus James Timothy Norman. So you'll see the United States of America referred to as the government all throughout all of these documents. So basically, they want to bar Andre's mom from testifying. Now, this was filed on September 5th. However, she did end up testifying. But this is still a really important court record because it mentions Miss Robbie and why they were trying to prevent Andre's mom from testifying, because it has to do with Miss Robbie. So this first document is the actual motion to bar the government from calling Michelle Griggs as a witness at trial. And they say the defendant, Tim Norman, by and through his attorneys, respectfully moves this court for the entry of an order barring the government from calling Michelle Griggs as a witness at trial, and states as follows. On Sunday, September 4th at 9:20 p.m., the government produced for the very first time the witness statements of Ms. Griggs. And they were not written statements, they were audio files of an interview. And they say that the government intentionally sat on and did not produce the Griggs statements until Sunday, September 4th at 9:20 p.m. So they have a problem with that. They say the government has been sitting on these materials for almost 1 year, and the government continues to believe that the rules do not apply to them in this courtroom. And it says these materials clearly constitute Giglio materials, and after further review, they may turn out to be Brady materials as well. Now, Tim Norman's attorneys, they are working hard. They are working hard. They have their work cut out for them, and they are working hard. They're on the case. They are working hard. And I'm going to make another video about this whole Brady situation, because that was another thing that was mentioned in this trial. And they say the defendant, Tim and his counsel, the lawyers, are further prejudiced by this intentionally late production for the reason that they are still attempting to review the 42 witness files containing more than 50 different witness statements in the form of paper, audio, and video. Basically, they're saying they're overwhelmed, and this was given to them at the last minute. They filed 2 documents. The second one is the reason they didn't want Michelle Griggs to testify. Now, this is another motion they filed in limine. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but basically it means early, like I'm filing this preceding something else, like I'm filing this early. And it says, in the event that Michelle Griggs is allowed to testify at trial, to bar the government from eliciting certain statements from her. And those statements were hearsay from Ms. Robbie. That's what those statements were, that they didn't want Michelle to be questioned about. And so they say defendant Timothy Norman, by and through his undersigned attorneys, respectfully moved the court for an order barring the government from eliciting certain statements of government witness Michelle Griggs, and states as follows. Now, y'all listen up. Number 1, this motion is filed in the event this court denies defendant's motion to bar Griggs from testifying at trial. That's the motion that I just showed you guys. So they're filing this just in case that motion doesn't go through. And we know now that it didn't go through because Michelle Griggs was allowed to testify. Number 2, the government intends to introduce statements allegedly made by Robbie Montgomery, Miss Montgomery, and Andre Montgomery to Michelle Griggs through the testimony of Michelle Griggs. Again, defendant's counsel received those Griggs statements in the form of audio only on Sunday, September 4th at 9:20 p.m. Now, here we go. The government intends to introduce through Michelle Griggs, number 1, statements that Ms. Montgomery allegedly made to Ms. Griggs, speculating and opining that Mr. Norman may have killed Andre Montgomery. I'll read that again for those of y'all who might not have caught it. The government, that is the prosecution, intends to introduce through Andre Montgomery's mother, Michelle Griggs, statements that Ms. Montgomery, Robbie Montgomery, allegedly made to Ms. Griggs, speculating and opining that Mr. Norman may have killed Andre Montgomery. So you have Miss Robbie Montgomery. In interviews, she's saying that, she hopes her son gets out of this. He hasn't been proven guilty. She's standing by her son till death do us part. But there is another layer to this where she may have, according to these documents, this is not my opinion. I didn't even know about this until I read these documents. But she may have told Andre's mother, she may have speculated and opined that her own son may have killed Andre. I want to say this information is allegedly so bad, but we're looking at the court documents, so we can't really say it's allegedly because it is in black and white. But what I will say, like the court documents say, it's speculation and opinion. I can't say that Miss Montgomery allegedly telling Michelle Griggs that Tim Norman may have been the person to take Andre Montgomery out of here was speculation and it was opinion. But I am bringing it to you because I think it's important to know that this is more complex. It's not just a simple headline that she's supporting her son. She's hearing the rumors too. And apparently, according to these documents, she has speculated and she has opined about her own son's involvement. Now, number two, the statements that Andre Montgomery allegedly made to his mom, Michelle Griggs, to the effect that Tim Norman was out to get him. For example, that Andre Montgomery should watch his back based on the alleged statements of an unidentified woman who purportedly made the statements to Andre. And then Andre allegedly later conveyed those statements to his mother. So let's get into the statements. If you go down further, it goes statements allegedly made by Ms. Montgomery to Griggs. And while I'm at it, let me also say this. I have shout out to the other bloggers covering this, like Randomness of Vel. I'll put a link to all these people's channels below, but Randomness of Vel, Today's Celebrity News, J So Extra, and Philly Phil. Don't come try to sue me for sharing with the public these public records. These records are available to the public. They are not sealed. If they were sealed, I wouldn't have them. I don't have them through any type of sinister way. These documents were not leaked to me. These are public documents. So don't come try to sue me over documents that are public that I'm sharing with the public. So the statements allegedly made by Ms. Montgomery to Michelle Griggs, in which Ms. Montgomery purportedly speculates and opines that Mr. Norman might have killed Andre Montgomery and why, are inadmissible as hearsay and must be excluded pursuant to the law. And they list the actual laws. And I do want to say the thing about hearsay, I think we all know hearsay is like gossip. And when it comes to gossip, it can be true, it can be false, or it can be somewhere in between. They say, thirdly, Ms. Montgomery's lay opinions about what she speculates may have happened or why are irrelevant and must be barred under federal rule of evidence. Finally, any alleged conceivable relevance is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice to the defendant. The introduction of Ms. Montgomery's speculative statements are designed for one purpose, to prejudice Mr. Norman, and therefore must be excluded. And then they list the law and the reason why they must be excluded. And they say virtually the same thing for the statements made by Andre Montgomery himself. So you guys, like I said, there are a lot of layers to this case. It's extremely complex. And even Ms. Robbie, even though she appears to be supporting her son, the defense had reason to file these documents stating that she also, on the other hand, may have speculated about her own son. It's a very complex situation. I sure hate that she's in it. I hate that this happened. But like I said, I just want to bring information to you that is available to you and let you know the complexities of this case and even the complexities of the opinions of people who are involved or affected by this case. And so I will be covering this case. If you like this type of coverage, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell so that you get a notification every time I post a new video. And make sure you support your girl. Sometimes these videos, when you're talking about crime and things like that, sometimes they don't receive ad support. So make sure you support your girl if you like this type of content. As always, thanks for watching.
Layla, Layla, Layla tells it all.